Listen, I already had very little hope that it would be Nick, or Nicholas, Scratch if you will, but the ending was so good that I don't even mind that it was Billy, because I mean, talk about being your mother's son. This episode started well, went weller, and finished wellest. Not me laughing, in English is my second language and I can abuse it if I want to. The episode is titled Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power, and I mean, no one was surprised about whose power was going to be awakened during the darkest hour. So, the episode. It starts with the Salem 7 coming after Agatha, and we finally figure out who they are. I mean, I do, because I don't know the lore, obviously. Remember when Agatha, way back when in the flashbacks we got in WandaVision, sacrificed her entire coven to get more power? Yeah, she decided to spare the grandchildren of that coven, and the grandchildren were like, big mistake. And they have just been after her ever since. And while this is being explained, we see the first instance in this episode where Rio is very protective over Agatha, and she basically says, yeah, Agatha did do all that, but only because her mother tried to get her executed. And two things. One, Rio, why are you defending Agatha so much? Is this just the lover vibes, or are you guilty for something? And I mean, it's a whole episode. Rio defends Agatha and is protective over Agatha during the whole episode, sometimes to a point where it's funny, but also... why? Because it's clear by now that Rio isn't part of the coven. She was summoned to be the Earth Witch, but really she doesn't get affected by anything. Like when they are riding on the brooms, when the possession is happening in the house, she's just having fun. She doesn't get affected by a single effing thing. Sorry, I don't want to have to bleep myself out. So to me, I'm thinking, what's Rio's purpose there? Because it feels like she's just there to look after Agatha. In some ways, sometimes it feels like she's there kind of hoping that Agatha becomes a better person. And I know someone commented on one of my videos saying that Rio is supposed to be death in this universe, which wouldn't make sense because then when they're talking to death, if they are really talking to death in the in the Ouija board, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but do y'all remember that one clip? There was people on this website asking about Ouija boards, and I'm remembering just one person. There was this one person that was asking about a Ouija board in this website, and this person asked, where can I get a Ouija board? Is it something hard to obtain or something? And can I get a Ouija board from a witch or a vegan? Oh my. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the shift in topic, but I just got reminded of that one clip. Oh man, if I can find it, I'm gonna put it here like really quickly. But the first time I watched that, I lost my mind because making a comparison between a witch and a vegan is just beyond funny. And adding to that, if you're going to watch that video, because I think you should, and I will absolutely link it down if I can find it, you also need to watch Daniel Sloss's Jigsaw. It's very relevant for the vegan cause. Okay, ending of side note. Where was I? Oh, death. The Ouija board, death. If they really summoned death, or like we're talking to death, and Death was like, Agatha needs to pay. Like, it wouldn't make sense that Rio is Death. So either they didn't summon Death, or Rio isn't Death. I would prefer it that they didn't actually summon death, and that was just part of the challenge, and it didn't actually happen. But however, everything that I said, like in the rule book, was true. So when Agatha like broke the connection, a spirit came to visit her. So, and also when they finished on goodbye, the challenge ended. So I'm assuming that really was death. But if that really was death, Rio can't be death. Marvel nerds, respectfully, if you want to jump in. But anyway, I am so curious to find out what the hell happened between Rio, Agatha's mother. Like, what do you mean? You should have like killed your baby as soon as she was born, because at that one point in the challenge when Agatha, like, she seems so genuine, and I mean I totally believed her. I don't think that part of the episode when she asks her mother like, why do you hate me still, I don't think that was pretend, was it? It seemed genuine to me. And I mean, why would a mother hate a baby? A baby isn't guilty of anything. So why would her mother hate her this much? And when her mother answers that she should have killed her the moment she was born, Rio gives this look that tells me that she knows more than she's saying. And it's so heartbreaking because I've watched a lot of media. I have read a lot of media. I've consumed a lot of media, whether in books, TV shows, films, whatever. Whenever there is a plot point like this, where the mother hates the child for no obvious reason and hates them since the moment they were born, probably even before, there is usually only one reason for that. And if they're going to insert that topic here, I will absolutely adore it, and it will make Agatha's character way more complex. But I don't know that Disney / the MCU has the balls to actually address something like that. What I'm talking about is essay, like if Agatha was the product of an assault. But yeah, I don't know that Marvel will have the balls to actually talk about. I mean, they've inserted a lesbian relationship and they haven't even kissed. So if Marvel doesn't have the balls for that, what do they have the balls for? Apparently, all the scrotums they can take are in someone's purple face. Also, we have to remember this is the MCU. Like, the way that they are introducing Agatha and the way that they're building her character, no way that woman is a villain. Because, I mean, does anyone see Wanda as a villain? Even though she was the antagonist in that one Doctor Strange film? No, she wasn't a villain. And this is the same thing with Agatha. Like, something happened in her past that made her kind of like snap into this character of the perverted evil witch. Whatever it is, I'm just really excited to get the whole story. I feel like I'm reliving Pretty Little Liars, where we just want to find out what the hell happened the day that Allison disappeared. I just want to find out what the hell happened to Agatha in the past, and to her child, and with Rio, and with her mother. But anyway, I took the longest road possible and when I was just talking about the Salem 7. Back to it then. How do our beautiful coven of witches escape from the Salem 7? By riding broomsticks, which, I will not even lie to you, they look so cool in the moonlight. Are you telling me this isn't cool? Like, look at it. Is this not cool? It is. Because I say it is. And we get some more commentary on the role of witches in modern society, I guess. And this commentary comes from the divination witch when she says that broomsticks or brooms are just used in modern society as a symbol of the witch culture, which is a very reductive symbol to use. And because of this, witches don't like to use brooms anymore because it's like they're giving in into the stereotype that was created about them. You know, kind of like those crowned feathers used to supposedly represent indigenous people. And because brooms are an utensil that is often used to clean homes and often used by women, The divination's witch also points out that this is an instrument or a symbol of female domesticity, in her own words. Which basically just means being a 1950s housewife, when it wasn't a choice. I'm loving the undertones of Barbie feminism. It's like, yeah, we've been new, but thank you for pointing it out anyway. That was the whole of the Barbie film, wasn't it? Like, yeah, we've known this for years, but thank you for pointing it out to the general public. That's basically the feminism in Agatha All Along, which is still nice. I still appreciate it. And when they ride the brooms through the night sky, this is when we get the reference to that one image at the end credits that I mentioned. I think in my first video about this TV show, it's an illustration of 5 witches riding one broom. And my question really is, where is the German sausage? But also what we can confirm with this image is that a lot of the end credits, illustrations and images and references are going to appear in Agatha All Along. And later on in this episode, there is a talk to the dead, and initially when they mentioned it, I thought, oh, we're going to get the chalk on the floor candle stuff, but no, we don't get it. So I'm thinking that later on in the season, we will still get that moment of chalk on the floor candles talking to the dead. Potentially a big circle, potentially over the entire town of Westview, potentially after they have their powers. Bet on it. And still riding the brooms. I have to mention this scene between Agatha and Rio, guys. This was so cute. I was fawning so much over this. Like when Agatha raises her head and feels the freedom of the night sky on her face. And then she just looks to the side and she looks at Rio feeling the same sense of freedom. My God, the longing between these two people. I was crying in Darcy's hand flex. Yeah. I haven't seen this kind of longing since Prisma Season 2. And it just reminds me of the fact that I was cancelled by Netflix again. Once again cancelling one of my favorite gay shows. Anyway. The road starts pulling them back to the next trial, but before they can enter the house, they are confronted with one of the Salem 7. They enter the house anyway, and it's kind of a 70s horror movie kind of scenario. And of all people, this is Agatha's house? Who else was confused? Because I was expecting like a cool lair, And we find out that the divination witch doesn't actually talk to the dead. I mean, excuse you, you're wrong. Because you are being possessed every freaking episode, and it happens again in this episode when they're all freaking out hearing those voices in their ears and Agatha's mom is coming back from the dead as a spirit to possess her body. The divination's witch says, I hated this the first time. Tell me she's not being possessed. She is. By whom? By who? Whom? I don't know. English is my second language. The person who's possessing her? No clue who it is. My bet is multiple people. So when they're on the circle around the vegan Ouija board, and they talk to Death, supposedly, Death wants Agatha to pay. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this isn't Death. This is her mother, right? Pretending to be Death to scare her. And listen, this is a very serious issue. However, it was absolutely hilarious when her mother appeared and possessed her. It was so funny because Rio literally says, sweetheart, you okay? While she's walking on all fours, with her twisted body and her belly up to the sky. As if she just got her period. And Rio just like, well... And then she attacks the kid, and the kid is like, no, I think she's possessed this time. And it's so funny because then the potions witch comes in and she calls Agatha to distract her from the kid. And as soon as Agatha turns to her and she sees Agatha's face, possessed face, she's like, ugh. Was that not funny? I found it funny. But then Agatha has to go and be an asshole. And listen, I don't think she couldn't control it. I think she could. And she just didn't want to. She was drunk on the power. But I mean, there's a difference between being drunk on the power and losing control and actually not being able to control it, you know? They're playing her power as if it's like an addiction, as if she's addicted to the power and she literally cannot stop herself. But I mean, if it is an addiction, we know that she can, because it's a literal mental illness that many people have and they can control themselves. Like, literally, her power is playing as if she's a Twilight vampire drinking blood and she can't stop. But then Edward stopped. But we know that she isn't emotionless because as soon as she hears the name of her son, Nicholas Scratch, she does stop. So she could stop. And also, why does Nicholas have a voice? Wasn't he a baby? Does this mean that when she traded her son for the Darkhold, that her son went somewhere, Rio knows where, and he grew up to become a child before he died? Is he not dead, but in the realm of the dead, still alive and able to communicate with his mother? What happened to Nicholas? Like, I feel like the more I will know about the situation, the more my heart will break. Because there's no way that Agatha is the evil, like, unredeemable witch that she's trying to portray herself as. Because her heart must have broken into tiny little pieces when she heard the voice of her child, or her supposed child. Because up until that point, she still had some hope that the kid was her child, even after what Rio told her last episode. And the moment that she hears the voice of her child is the moment that she truly realizes, oh, the kid is not my kid. And when she's outside and the kid confronts her and she just turns into dark, evil Agatha, I'm a sentimental person, so I'm thinking her heart must have been broken because maybe she truly thought that was her kid. And now she feels betrayed and she realizes who he actually is. I know everyone is going to be like, no, she knew it all along and whatever, but, well, here I am, believing that she didn't know all along. But Billy, who we now know for sure is Billy, still cared about her, still was willing to see past her faults. And that's just really what truly breaks my heart, because he had the power all along. Like, he hasn't gone through any challenge at all. He had that whole power all along, and he just didn't use it. Or maybe he did, because some people think he's the one who killed Mrs. Hart. But, I mean, whatever it is, that ending was so good. Like, the little blue crown on him, and then ending the Billy reveal with a Billie Eilish song. Agatha All Along, you got me. Because I was like, my reaction was like, you know, like the painting. It was this, exactly. Should I put that as my thumbnail? No way. At this point, I know there's a lot of hate for Agatha All Along, and there have been, like, I think men online trying to review Bomb It on IMDb. Couldn't relate. I am genuinely excited for the next episode, and to understand whatever the is happening in this show. And to the people who might or might not be review bombing the show, just turn it off. Like, you don't like it, if you think it's not for you, you don't like it, just turn it off. Like, you don't have to spoil everything that we love. We need our gay little shows because we have a gay little life. Not everything needs to be a fight. Not everything needs to be me against you. Like, can you imagine if we went around all of these like sports shows and whatever, I don't know, straight men listen to and watch and just review bomb it and try to cancel it? Can you imagine the kind of life you would have to care so much about a show that you detest? To literally go out of your way and spend hours online just shitting on it? Come on. You must have something better to do. Just leave us and our gay little shows alone.